It is one of the it is one of the oldest standing forts in India. Bathinda is a city that has a large army cantonment, an air force station, one of the biggest railway junctions, apart from being an educational hub, housing Central University of Punjab, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Advanced Cancer Institute, Institute of Hotel Management and Catering Technology and Applied Nutrition, and Maharaja Ranjit Singh Punjab Technical University, besides many other private universities. Dear friends, we know to encourage academic excellence in technical education and to prepare tech ready faculty in emerging areas, AICT has taken several quality initiatives. I express my gratitude to AICT for
Definitely.
sponsoring 5-day online faculty development program, Advanced Construction Technology, under its Atal scheme at Gyani Jail Singh Campus College of Engineering and Technology, Bathinda. Advanced technology in construction makes the job site safer and plays an important role in overall cost, time schedule, and occupational safety of the project. Advanced construction technology is the need of the day, especially when we talk about the future smart cities. It includes the latest developments in materials technology, design procedures, quantity surveying, structural analysis and design, and management studies. On the construction sites, technology can be used for effective monitoring and supervision. For example, drones are successfully being used by construction companies in Japan and United States, among others, to conduct surveys of construction sites and to monitor the progress of ongoing construction. The concept of autonomous robots is also gaining importance in the construction industry, mainly due to labor shortages and for difficult terrains. For example, a robotic bricklayer invented in Australia is capable of laying bricks at a speed of 1,000 bricks per hour with 100% accuracy. In the construction industry, IoT, Internet of Things, it is being used for remote operation and monitoring, supply replenishment, equipment service and repairs. In future, it could also impact how we construct all buildings and infrastructure, leading to more efficient and responsive buildings and cities. Similarly, machine learning technologies allow companies to continuously monitor their heavy equipment on site in real time. If any component malfunctions or breaks down, the system proactively alerts the operator, increasing on site and worker safety. Similarly, advances in material technology can do wonders in saving cost and improving quality and efficiency. That is the need of the day. For example, we have self healing concrete that can heal itself through reactivation of bacteria which excretes calcite when water enters through cracks in the concrete. We have thermochromic roofs which can change color from black to white when sun rays falls on it, thereby reflecting up to 80% of the sun rays and saving cooling cost by 20% at least. Similarly, we are having transparent aluminium. It is a new material in advanced construction technology that is made for aluminium oxynitride using laser technology and is a new bulletproof material that is almost as strong as steel. It is a see-through metal that is just making a breakthrough in the construction industry. We have thermally modified wood, which can resist burning of wood at high temperatures and is more durable. Such wood is produced by modifying process of controlled pyrolysis, which is when timber is heated at more than 180 degrees centigrades in the absence of oxygen. So all these materials which are coming up, they can play wonders for the construction technologies, and we need to know about them. This is just a glimpse. My dear friends, as a faculty of technical institutes, it becomes imperative that we should be aware of all these advances so that we are able to contribute by exploring the challenges and issues in these areas. This faculty development platform at Gyani Jail Singh Campus College of Engineering and Technology, Bathinda, is a humble step toward this direction. I am deeply obliged to all the learned experts from different streams and institutes for agreeing to be a part of this FDP to share their experience and knowledge in these upcoming fields. I hope and wish that it will be a good learning and interacting platform for all of you. Once again, I express my gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor Saab and Coordinator FDP, AICTE, for facilitating and sponsoring the organization for this event. I also express my heartiest gratitude to Chairman AICTE for posing confidence in us and giving us this responsibility to hold this program. I also congratulate the Department of Civil Engineering, its head of the department, Dr. Rakesh Singla, Engineer Kundan, and the other organizers for their wholehearted contributions in making this FDP program a successful one. I wish you all the very best. All the very best to the organizers, to the participants. Keep learning. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we will start the first speaker.
Okay. Hereby the time comes that we will start with the first speaker, and we are thankful for Dr. Sweena Bansal ma'am for her kind words, and we are working together for the quality education, and so that we can in collaboration with other colleagues, we can give the quality education to the students, stakeholders. So thank you very much, ma'am. And we are also thankful to all the participants who are present in this FDP. And so now time comes, let me introduce with the first expert of first session, Dr. Manjeet Bansal ji. Dr. Manjeet Bansal is presently working as Professor of Civil Engineering Department at Gyani Jail Singh Campus College of Engineering and Technology, MRSPTU, Bathinda. He worked from last 25 years with the GZS CCET MRSPTU, Bathinda. Presently he is also working as the Chairman Admission Cell, Dean Consultancy and Industry Linkage for Maharaja Ranjit Singh Punjab Technical University, Bathinda. He had also worked as the director, Punjab Institute of Technology, Mansa, Punjab. He also worked as director, Baba Hira Singh Patel Institute of Engineering and Technology, Sangrur, head Department of Civil Engineering, MRSPTU Bathinda, and Public Relation Officer, MRSPTU Bathinda. He had posted these positions as well. He is the author of different 5 books related with the field of civil engineering. He presented more than 50 papers in national and international conferences and 49 publications in the national and international conferences, journals. He awarded Bharat Jyoti Award, Great Achievers of Education Excellence, Mother India Award for Education Excellence, and many more. He has done approximately 336 lakhs consultancy work in the field of civil engineering with various agencies and organizations like PWD, B&R, Irrigation Department, etc., and many more. He supervised 116 students at postgraduate level and 5 students at the doctoral level, PhD, and 6 more in the progress right now. So he is the member of Board of Studies and Academic Council of various universities and giving his contributions to their academic field. He organized 28 technical events and he is the member of 11 professional bodies. And with a huge experience, right now I request Dr. Manjeet Bansal to kindly start with his session. Thank you.
Thank you, Sukhdeep.
Ji sir, you can share your screen, sir.
Just I am sharing my screen.
Ji sir, ji sir.
Sukhdeep, it's okay now. My
yes,
visible on screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your screen is visible, sir, and audio is also perfect, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So, a very good morning to all present. So, first of all, I want to thank All India Council for Technical Education and New Delhi, especially Department of Civil Engineering, Dr. Rakesh Kumar Singla ji, and other organizers, Engineer Kundan Kumar, Sukhdeep ji, and other organizers who has given me a chance to share my views with all of you. Now, directly, I will come on the topic. As far as this short-term course is concerned, this is what is happening in civil engineering. Latest techniques, latest technologies, because all of we know that technology is changing very fast. So it is not possible that if technology is changing very fast, so then its application is not happening in the civil engineering. This is not possible. You might be listening that buildings are made within 24 hours or 48 hours. And similarly, there is a revolution in the construction industry. Either you talk about the building materials, smart building materials are there, building technologies are there. There is a precast concept is there, steel buildings are there. Either you talk about the partition walls, AAC blocks are there, which has been replaced by the bricks. Then pre-stress concept, pre-stress technology, like if we are going for the bridges, construction of bridges, pre-stress technology is there, pre-casted various buildings are there. So lot of things are happening. Lot of things are happening in the civil engineering. Clear? So out of all these, either in construction or materials or assembling or time, one concept is intelligent buildings. So in the today's lecture, there are a lot of topics which are new in the civil engineering. So I will share my views. We will discuss intelligent buildings, which is also the need of the hour, and various technologies, sensor-based technologies. Intelligent buildings, new era of today's world. Clear? So,
excuse me, sir.
Please.
जी सर, एक्चुअली ना ये वाला जो स्टॉप शेयरिंग वाला ऑप्शन आगे आ रहा है स्क्रीन के, तो उसको प्लीज साइड पे कर दीजिए थोड़ा.
अच्छा अच्छा.
एंड राइट नाउ, हाँ जी सर, right now Dr. Gurinderpal Singh Brad, Honorable Registrar of MRSPTU Bathinda, is also with us in this session. So we welcome Dr. Gurinderpal Singh Brad sir in this online FDP.
Sukhdeep ji, if Dr. Brar wants to share his view, then I will continue after that.
Ji sir.
I think he is the registrar of our university, so we should give 5 to 10 minutes to him to share his views on this topic.
Dr. Brad sir, please say a few words regarding this FDP.
Thank you, sir. Sir, it gives me a great privilege to be part of this FDP, Advancement in Construction Technology. This is a very good topic on which we are sharing our views, and it will be great benefit to the society, as we go by a saying, the basic formula of engineering is to reduce cost and increase efficiency. And in today's world, as space is reducing, population is increasing, and in this era of technology, high population, the only alternative left is we have to plan. We have to develop a technology for good construction plannings, so that we are able to give house to all the population of the world without disturbing our environment. So this environment can be preserved, and it will be a privilege for the coming generations if we use better, latest technology in case of construction material. So I, on behalf of Maharaja Ranjit Singh University, welcome all the participants and all the organizers to have organized this seminar, which is the demand of the time. So as today we have to see different factors: comfort of human beings, environment, and this all is possible if we have the advancement in construction technology. As today we have a house, we have a building, we have any construction site, we have to plan, think, design so that it has a long life. And this all is possible by advancement of technology. So once again, I wish a success to the organizers, and all the participants will gain a lot from this STP so that it can be used and your knowledge can be shared by the next generations so that our Mother Earth is safe and sound. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind and valuable words. And thanks for your presence, sir. And now I request Dr. Manjeet Bansal ji to kindly pursue with his expert lecture.
So it's okay now, Sukhdeep, it's okay?
Ji, sir.
My PowerPoint is visible on the screen? Sukhdeep?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. So, intelligent buildings, new era of today's world. So, as we have discussed that lot of technology, lot of changes are happening in the world as far as construction industry is concerned. So, out of that, one concept, one aspect is intelligent buildings. You know? So, we will discuss what is this concept, how we can now, first of all, how we can define what intelligent building. Intelligent building किस बला का नाम है? First of all, so an intelligent building can be defined as a building that combines the best available concepts, designs, materials, systems, and technologies in order to provide an interactive, adaptive, responsive, integrated, and dynamic intelligent environment for achieving the occupants' objectives over the full lifespan of the building. So just in a simple words, in simple language, intelligent building is a building which facilitate, which uses the technology. In this intelligent building, basically sensor-based all the functions, sensor-based all the functions are used, and with the wiring and integrated system. For example, in a society, this concept of intelligent building is possible in a planned way construction. Like suppose a group housing is there, so then there will be a network system in all the houses of that group housing building, and they are interconnected. If something happens on any floor, then at the central control system we can judge, we can know, and we can see that where the fault is lying, and directly we can repair, or we can check the fault and make the repair possible. So this is the beauty of the intelligent building system. Intelligent building to use the natural resources maximum, that we will discuss in our coming slides. And the BMS. Next comes your building management system, that is BMS. So in this ventilation, either we talk about ventilation or air conditioning system, heating, water supply system, then electricity system, all are with the help of your automation. So to control centrally, as discussed earlier, that this concept is only possible where the construction is in a organized way, in a planned way, in a group housing, in a multi-story housing, where we have provided all the services. For example, lighting, heating and cooling, security system. Then in that security system comes CCTV, alarm system, all these audio visual, and climate control. AC is automatically on, automatically off with the help of the temperature. Similarly, ventilation, when there will be darkness, then lighting will be on. When there is sunlight, then lighting will be off. So to use or to optimize the maximum resources in an intelligent way with the using of technology. Fundamentals for the development of intelligent buildings. We have to make the building intelligent. We have to make the behavior of the building intelligently, but we have to also take care of its cost effectiveness. It should be cost effective. How we can make cost effective, that we will discuss in the later on slides. And user satisfaction. Basically, if any building is constructed, so usage is there. So whosoever is the whosoever is the user of that building, he should be satisfied with all the facilities and services which that building is offering. Similarly, integration of building services. So to integrate the various services, lighting, ventilation, fire system, alarm system, sprinkler system. Similarly, responsiveness to the changes. This is the main flexibility. If any system, because time is changing very fast, technology is changing fast, so any system, similarly intelligent building should be also responsive to the adopt the changes whatever is happening in the world. Now in this video I will share with you in a brief 3-4 minutes the basic technology of your intelligent building. So
commercial buildings are evolving to cater to changes in technology and workplace behavior, while presenting new opportunities to maximize efficiency and productivity. Industry-leading companies are demanding versatile buildings that serve as virtual gateways to connect people within an office and around the world. Buildings of the future integrate people and systems in a dynamic and functional way. Building owners and operators are specifically tasked with the challenge of providing safe and secure settings, network connectivity, functional spaces, and an IoT-enabled environment to achieve improved business productivity. This video provides insight into these environments and addresses foundational elements required to migrate to a smart building platform. The first step in creating a safe and secure environment is through risk management, which can be achieved with a 5-layered physical security approach. Deploying a layered security strategy can provide you with the ability to deter, detect, deny, defend, and detain at every layer of your commercial building, including the property perimeter, reception, floor levels, technical spaces, and specialized zones. These areas typically adopt a variety of security solutions, including network video surveillance, integrated access control, intrusion detection, and fire protection systems. More than ever before, a high-performance structured cabling system plays an essential role in operating a smart building. Without it, you cannot achieve the best practices required to support multiple applications, cope with increased bandwidth, and eliminate network downtime. Creating versatile physical layer connectivity is dependent on well-designed network flexibility, a universal cabling topology, media selection, wireless mobility, and consideration for multi-application support. This suggests the need for an open system platform where hardware and software work together to increase the productivity and efficiency of the network. Social and economic drivers are placing a larger focus on how workforce behavior can be improved with technology. This presents many challenges, including supporting a BYOD environment and enabling collaborative business communication with seamless network availability. Workforce productivity can be achieved through network accessibility, scalable growth, unified communication, and multimedia engagement methods. Utilizing in-building cellular coverage such as DAS and small cell technology, seamless Wi-Fi connectivity, collaborative AV solutions, and communication through digital signage. With more employees concentrated in smaller spaces and increased demand for dynamic, collaborative areas, the need to optimize space is important for the productivity and efficiency of employees and of the building itself. Commercial buildings contain a number of functional spaces, including the main reception, common work areas, meeting environments, private office locations, technical rooms, and various specialized zones. Mobile and fixed network connectivity, professional AV and lighting solutions can all assist in optimizing real estate effectiveness. Enabling the Internet of Things in a commercial building allows you to analyze your environment and make real-time adjustments to improve efficiency and productivity. A truly smart building will address the challenges of open architecture design, supplier integration, and migrating to an IP platform. A BIoT-enabled environment simplifies the task of managing risk, improving network performance, enhancing workforce productivity, and better space utilization. The 5 sensors that enable intelligent buildings include environmental monitoring, visual management, communication enablement, security integration, and network connectivity. Annexter's infrastructure as a platform model provides you with flexibility for budgets and more choices when selecting the technology that addresses your current and next generation commercial building needs.
So this was a small video which explains how the intelligent building works. So as I have also discussed in our earlier discussion that, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Earlier also discussed that technology is changing day by day. So like earlier we were using, suppose I am talking about the roof structure. When we cast a slab on the roof, so after that for in thermal insulation, for controlling the thermal insulation, in the earlier days we were using mud as well as bitumen, and nowadays in that technology is used that is known as puff insulation, PUF. Puff insulation is used. With the help of that, in that polyurethane chemical is used. When we cast the slab on the roof, after on the slab we spray this chemical which is known as polyurethane chemical, and after sometimes 2 to 3 inch puff PUF एक फॉर्म सी बन जाती है उसमें, उसके ऊपर immediately we place approximately 2 inch PCC and then we place flooring, tile flooring. So what I mean to say, technology is changing day by day and we are implementing also in the civil engineering. We can easily see. Similarly, nowadays in place of bricks, AAC, aerated blocks are used, which are very light in weight and very effective in insulation. So in place of bricks as a partition walls, their AAC blocks are used. Now I again come to the topic, the basic 3 conditions for intelligent building. So, and building which we can say will be intelligent building, so that should have advanced automatic control system to monitor various facilities like air conditioning, temperature, lighting, security, fire, all alarm, fire sprinkler, all these things. Second thing is the building should have the good networking infrastructure. First thing मैंने आपको बोला कि good networking system should be there, so then it will be able to flow the various facilities, various technologies, various telecommunication from floor to floor. Either first floor to second floor or second floor to third floor up to 10-20 story, and from one block to other block. So these are the basic 3 conditions which a building should have to come in the condition or to come in the category of an intelligent building. Intelligent systems, time-based control, suppose we are going somewhere, so lights will be automatically on, off. optimized parameter based control conditions. So these are the some of the basic things for intelligent building. Now, how we can control an intelligent system? Life safety system, smart materials, smart glasses are there, other smart materials are used, which green materials, other materials which we can use in a intelligent building. Then access control system, surveillance system, camera, CCTV cameras and other sensor based. If someone touches, then our alarm system is there. Then smoke detection. If a fire comes, then with the help of smoke detector, alarms are there, fire alarms are there, and automatically sprinkler system will start working in that building. So these are the some of the basic components of an intelligent building. Then comfort system. This slide shows air quality sensor. With the help of air quality sensor, if inside the building quality of air is compromised, then automatically that sensor will start. Smart glass. You might be seeing the smart glasses in a building. In that, you cannot break that glass, whatever force you apply, because in that fibers are there. So dane se hote hain, so you are not able to break that glass for the security purposes. Natural lighting system, green building concept is also there in intelligent building. We should use the maximum natural resources, temperature sensors, so as to optimize the resources available, so as to go for the concept of sustainable development. Development not at the cost of environment. Then, as I have discussed earlier, that if we go for the category of the intelligent building, then different technologies, different parts are there. In that category, one part is smart materials. Smart materials are used for various applications in civil engineering, such as sensing any deformation or degradation, self-repairing. So these are the some of the smart materials which we will use in our intelligent building. Then life safety system, access control system, these which are visible on your screen, all of you might be knowing, biometric reader on the basis of your fingerprints or eyes sensation, then swipe card, your ID system, all these we are using, and same technology is used in your building, in your intelligent building, for opening the doors, for opening your locks, anything, or for owning AC or any fire screen. This basic system of technology is used in an intelligent building. Life safety system, already your CCTV cameras, similarly surveillance cameras are used in an intelligent building. That is a part of the intelligent building. Then life safety system, that is smoke detection system, ionization smoke detector, photoelectric smoke detector, sensor based technology is there. If something, some minimum fire in a small part of the building, there is a smoke, then that smoke detector will immediately come into action, and then fire sprinklers will immediately on, and they will, that fire which occurs in the small part of the building, that will be immediately controlled. So that is the part and parcel of our intelligent building. Fire sprinkling system, life safety system, because first of all your smoke detectors will detect that something is happening in that part of the building. Then after that, that will send the message to the fire sprinkling system, and that will be automatically on, and within a few minutes, that in a small part of that building, fire will be controlled, and we will be able to avoid the big mishappening. Comfort system, smart glass. So these are the examples of the some of the glasses which we can use in our buildings category as a intelligent building. This is also a new technology, comfort system, small natural lighting system. In this here, solar tube. What is there? Here it is a mirror. Here it is a mirror placed on the top of the roof. Here you can see you are getting sunlight, sun rays through this mirror, through this glass. Sun rays are entering, and through this pipe, sun rays or sunlight is coming inside the building, inside the room. So where we can achieve or where we can enjoy that sunlight and natural resources in the form of solar energy. So this is the latest solar tube. Solar tube, it is also known as, with the help of which we can use maximum. We can use a maximum solar energy. This is solar tube, which is used now in the latest buildings, and the buildings which comes in the category of your intelligent building. With the help of in the solar tube category, again this is also one of the apparatus which is part and parcel of the solar tube, in which we can use this technology, in which we can maximum utilize the solar energy. Comfort system, passive infrared occupancy sensor, sensor based this technology. Now what happens with the help of this? Suppose you go in a library, so you need not to check manually what we do in the earlier days. So that is not there nowadays. You need not to check manually physically that book where it is. With the help of sensor based technology, this technology, you will be able to identify the books simply by taking that sensor in a hand. So then comfort system, temperature sensors, again a part and parcel of that intelligent system, with the help of which we can have the automatic control temperature sensor. Automatically air condition is on, automatically air condition is off. Air quality sensor. So this works on the principle that whenever in a building, inside the building, then quality of air is compromised, then automatically we have an alarm system. Then we will go for the air purifier or something that will purify the air inside the building. Now, next concept is, what is the intelligent building criteria? What is how we can say that this building is an intelligent building, this building is not an intelligent building. So in this slide, we are discussing that various factors which affects the criteria of intelligent building. In this slide, we are discussing various factors which makes a building, makes the building whether it is an intelligent building, which decides about the category of the building, that whether this building is an intelligent building or not intelligent building. So in that building, basically, first of all, when we are constructing an intelligent building, we have to maximum utilize the local construction material. As the main voice of our Honorable Prime Minister of India is also, that is vocal for local. Same principle applies here. Vocal for local means we should maximum utilize the local resources. So same concept here, that whenever we are making the building, new building in the category of intelligent building, so this thing is also applicable not only to the intelligent building but all types of buildings. Whatever we are constructing, we should make in the first step, we should maximum utilize, we should maximum use the local construction material available. Now in some locations, suppose we are constructing a building in Rajasthan or in Himachal Pradesh, so where lot of stone are available. So in that in that area, we can go for the stone masonry. Similarly, in the plain areas like Punjab and Haryana, where these stones are not available, then we will go for the brick masonry. But nowadays, in the major high-rise construction, mainly frame structures are there. Loading beams and columns are there. Rest walls are using as the partition walls or filler walls. And in that, we can use AAC blocks, which I have discussed. So first step is we should maximum utilize the local available construction materials in all types of building. Then efficient use of water. This is also the need of the hour. In today's scenario, this is also required in case of intelligent building, but it is again applicable to all types of building. Efficient use of water, because nowadays all of you might be knowing that it's a big challenge in the coming days. Throughout the world, people are predicting that if the fourth world war will be there, then that will be for the water. Already where we are in Punjab, in the more than 70 to 80% of the Punjab state has been declared as the darkest zone. Water, approximately 75% of the area of the Punjab, water is at the alarming stage, at the groundwater. Clear? So same thing is also applicable in other states of India. So we should maximum or we should efficiently use the water in case of construction in all types of building. Then water efficient landscaping. So water efficient landscaping, again same concept, we should use optimize, we should use optimization use of water in case of any type of building. Similarly, materials, ash bricks. Government has notified that wherever thermal power plants are there, where coal is burnt. When we generate the electricity after burning the coal, so then end product is our fly ash. So surrounding the thermal power plants, there are big ash dikes. A big problem of fly ash disposal is there. So government, different state governments and central government has notified that in a 25 to 50 kilometer of the area of a thermal power station, in a government construction, you have to use the fly ash bricks. So we should use, because that serves two purposes. One is the clay, very important clay we are using from the earth, so that is saved. Similarly, waste management is there, we are utilizing the waste material in the form of fly ash. Clear? So in that intelligent building, maximum we should use fly ash bricks, aluminium frames, all these certified things. Then next slide is our factors affecting criteria of intelligent building. So whenever we talk any system, so it should be environmental friendly. पर्यावरण का ध्यान बहुत रखना है हमने. If we go for the technology, we have to take care of environment. Suppose we are in a big way, we have made, you can see, if you will visit Gurgaon, that is known as New York of our India. So you might be seeing there high-rise buildings only. We have converted that into concrete jungle. So if we progress so much, because our country is a developing country, India is a developing country, and we are in a journey from developing country to developed country. We are in a journey from developing nation to developed nation. Development is required, progress is required, but not at the cost of environment. We have to take care of this, because if we are so much developed, but we have not, the air is not clean to take breathe. Similarly, water is not fit for drinking. Then what is the fun to go for the development? What is the fun to go for the technology? So any development is also needed, but not at the cost of environment, पर्यावरण. sustainable development we have to go. So environmental control, optimal use of daylight, optimize utilization of the natural resources. Whatever the buildings we are constructed, we should architecturally design that buildings in such a way that we utilize maximum natural resources, natural sunlight. In day we should not on the light system. Optimize use of daylight. Similarly, maintaining air quality, natural ventilation should be there. If in a building, if the proper directions are there for your ventilators, your doors, your windows, cross ventilation is there. So then I have seen so many buildings which are constructed like this, in that there is no requirement of air conditioning. If the natural ventilation is proper, cross ventilation is proper in the building, so that we should also take care in any type of building, especially in intelligent building. Clear? So then next point is use of LED and CFL lighting. Why we will go for this use? Because these types of technology, LED, either we talk LED, either we talk for CFL. So these basically uses very less electricity. Very less, these lighting system uses very less electricity. Clear? Similarly, natural airflow, installation air, handling unit, control air, all these are the basic things which we should use in all the buildings and especially in the intelligent building. Then next point is factors affecting the criteria of intelligent building. And again, same thing comes. Rainwater harvesting. One thing comes here, rainwater harvesting. So what is the philosophy of rainwater harvesting? All might be knowing. In the earlier discussion, I had explained that throughout the world, through our country India, and through our state Punjab, especially in Malwa region, there is a lot of scarcity will be there in the coming days as far as water is concerned. So then what is the solution? Solution is only one, that is rainwater harvesting. I think all of you which have joined this course might be knowing the philosophy of rainwater harvesting. That is, in our country, 2 to 3 months is a monsoon season in which maximum rainfall is there, and if we can harvest that rainwater, if we can utilize that rainwater for recharging our groundwater, similarly for our future needs, then that makes in the coming days, that will make that we can overcome that problem which will be coming, which will be there in the coming days. Rainwater harvesting, to conserve the rainwater for the future in the form of recharging the groundwater table and store the water for future use. Again, this your water efficient we have discussed, utilization of water. Similarly, water treatment, recycling. In the developed countries, the wastewater means your sewage, domestic sewage as well as industrial sewage, which we are there. In some of the developed countries, they are treating that wastewater, which we know also known as sewage, in the form of domestic sewage or industrial sewage. They give that wastewater to treatment to such an extent that after treatment, that water can be used for various other purposes, not for drinking. That can be used for washing of your clothes. That can be used for irrigation purposes. That can be used for your floor washing. All other purposes, just other than your cooking or drinking water. So that factor we have also to take care for all types of buildings, especially in the intelligent building. Again, disposal waste, that also comes the category of your solid waste management or environmental prevention of environmental degradation. So in a intelligent building, this waste disposal problem should not be there. We should go for the solid waste technology, maximum use of non-biodegradable products, separation of waste at the source, separation of biodegradable different, dustbin will be different for non-biodegradable disposal, dustbin will be separate for biodegradable. So by adopting these small measures, we can achieve a good quality of life, as well as we can help our future generations. Otherwise, if we will go like this, concrete jungles, and air will be polluted, water will be also polluted, so then definitely our future generations will curse us. They will say, but they had maintained for us. क्या छोड़ के जाएंगे हम अपने फ्यूचर जनरेशन के लिए, ये भी हमारे को सोचना होगा. So these are the some of the intelligent building aspects. Energy efficient, already explained that we should stress maximum utilization of our natural resources, like natural ventilation, natural air and utilization of natural air and ventilation system, natural utilization of solar light. Clear? All these things that will part of our intelligent building. So again, that same HVAC, high volume air conditioning system, lighting control, energy management, we should maximum use the natural energy sources and minimum use of our artificial energy sources like your electricity and all other, because directly or indirectly we are saving the energy if we will use the maximum utilization of the natural energy resources. This slide shows some of the parts, some of the elements of your intelligent building, that is fly ash based concrete walls, irrigated concrete blocks, already ACC or AAC, these are used nowadays. So this diagrams you can easily have. These all are the part and parcel of our intelligent building. Again, STP, sewage treatment plant, basic need, because we have to treat. Similarly, for the solid waste management, we'll go for the technologies like your vermicompost. These small plants we have in a community, in a group housing, we can maintain that vermicompost in which small earth bombs are there, and they use our waste, house waste or vegetable waste, they use as a food, and when they dispose their stool, so that is in the manure or in the form of manure. So in the vermicompost technology, waste is taken as a food by the bombs, and they discharge their waste in the form of stool, and that is as a manure. So like those small initiatives we have to take in a group housing where intelligent building and other building concepts are there. So these are the some of the components, some of the parts of the intelligent building system. This slide shows different aspects of our intelligent building. Energy efficient building services, already explained that maximum utilization of your natural resources, air, ventilation, solar light, all these things. Building automation system means sensor based technologies. All the floors, all the blocks, all the different blocks are interconnected. Flow is from one floor to another floor. System integration. Clear? So these are the some of the aspects of our intelligent building. Applications of intelligent buildings: fire, security, access, energy, lighting, lifts, communications, 24/7. You are not in your home, you are not in your building, but on your mobile you can see, you can have an access on your building. What is happening in your building on your mobile? Suppose your building is in Punjab and you are in US. So on your mobile you can have access to your building. Then whatever is happening in your building, you can control in your office. Suppose your office is in Punjab and you are in Canada. So while sitting in Canada, you can control your office. So this is again part and parcel of our intelligent building philosophy. So now the next concept comes: any real life application that a consumer can relate to. We are discussing the intelligent building phenomena. So he says that any real application which we can see, the answer is yes. So, Internet of Things, IoT. IoT means Internet of Things, home automation. Home automation, part and parcel of our intelligent building. So Alexa, experience the magic of Alexa smart home. So Alexa is the technology of Amazon, clear, with the help of which it is a voice control device, with the help of which you can say, suppose you want to switch on your light, you want to switch off your light, you want to start any services. So with the help of this device, Amazon Alexa, you can operate that. So in this slide, it is very clearly explained what is an Amazon Alexa. So basically it is a virtual assistant AI technology developed by Amazon. So voice interaction, we can control the different services of our intelligent building system. Clear? So in this slide, you can easily see that how in a reality we can go for this technology. Again, some of the components, some of the parts which we can use in an intelligent building, combination of all these things will make a building in the category of intelligent buildings, like your smart lighting, smart plugs, smart speakers, no remote, smart AC, door locks, cameras, different types of home appliances, voice control, TV, all these things, some of these things will make our ordinary building to a intelligent building. Now, this slide shows what is the difference, how we can differentiate between a intelligent building and ordinary building. So clearly defined in this slide how we can differentiate a ordinary building from an intelligent building. No doubt about it that if we go for the cost of the intelligent building, so that is high as compared to ordinary building, But as far as services are concerned, output is concerned, the purpose for which that building was constructed, efficiency, productivity, then that is much more than an ordinary building. If we talk about energy saving, and if we will sum up all the services which we are getting from an intelligent building, then we will be in a profitable situation. Clear? So similarly, other points are advantages of your intelligent building in this slide. Environmental benefits are there, economy benefits are there, social benefits are there. So if we will use the natural resources, if we will use the maximum natural resources like your sunlight, solar light, you can also install the solar light panels on the rooftop. You can also use for the electricity generation, so that will also help a lot. But in this, we will go for the design of the building in such a way that there is a minimum need of lighting. There will be need of lighting only in the night. No requirement of lighting in daytime. But generally, nowadays, if you see the design of the building, in daytime also lighting are on. So it should not be there. Design of the building should be such that economic benefit means the building which we are constructed, that definitely that will serve a purpose. So the services, the efficiency, the productivity of the building should be such that whatever investment we have made on that building, so we are able to recover that investment in the form of the utilization of the services which we are getting from that building. Social benefits. So social benefit means that building we should feel when we are using that building, when we are staying in that building, we should have a feeling that we had improved a lot in the as far as quality of life is concerned. We should have a feeling like that. Clear? So these are the some of the benefits of the intelligent building which a person, a particular agency which we are using intelligent building, they should feel all of advantages which we have discussed. Now this slide shows various disadvantages of intelligent building. Either in a discussion, there are as such no disadvantages of an intelligent building, but as far as financial resources are concerned, we have already a discussion that cost is more as far as financial resources are concerned. So these are the some of the disadvantages. But I again say that if we have a relative comparison of the services or productivity, efficiency, then they stand nowhere. Now finally we come on the conclusions. So what we conclude from this discussion, so this intelligent building can be an alternative for the optimized solution, and that building will give more efficient, will provide more efficiency, more productivity, more healthy, comfortable, technological, advanced world, good quality of life. If we want these things, then we can go for the intelligent building. Clear? So similarly, second conclusion is if we talk from a practical perspective, then it can provide green building concept also in that, maximum utilization of resources, as well as because if we are not changing, if we are not changing our technology, if we are not implementing the technologies in our construction techniques, in our building materials, all these things, then we will go back. So we will not be able to run properly. So from a practical perspective, these intelligent buildings is the need of the hour, is the need of the time. So we should go for these. If we go for the planned construction, for the group housing construction, for the vertical growth, then we should go for this. Dust accumulation, as far as intelligent building is concerned, this is 15% only, whereas in other normal building, the dust occupation is almost 50%. Clear? So same point is there, that 70% of the occupants feel that in an intelligent building, your lighting system, illumination level is very high without the use of lighting. Whereas in case of ordinary buildings or non-intelligent building, this illumination level or lighting system is not so effective. Why? Because we have not utilized in a design philosophy, we have not utilized the sunlight. So this is all about this intelligent building. So basically the need of the hour is to go for the change. Whatever changes are happening, whatever technologies are happening in the different fields of the civil engineering, that may be in highway construction, that may be in bridge construction, that may be in building construction, that may be in dam construction, in a reservoir construction, OHSR construction, because civil engineering is a very vast field. All you might be knowing that civil engineering is known as mother or father of all engineering branches. Firstly, if any engineering branch comes in this world, that was the civil engineering. Then out of this civil engineering, all other branches originate. IIT Roorkee, the institute which is now IIT Roorkee, earlier this institute was University of Roorkee. Before University of Roorkee, if we go back, then the name of that college was Thomson College of Civil Engineering. Thomson College of Civil Engineering. So the civil engineering department of IIT Roorkee is famous. This is the best department throughout the country. Similarly, one more branch, one more section of the civil engineering is very important nowadays. That is your earthquake engineering. Earthquake engineering is part of civil engineering, and that becomes very important nowadays, especially after occurrence of the earthquake on 26 January 2001, where the epicenter was in Gujarat. So I want to share this with you also, that throughout the country, earthquake engineering or earthquake is a specialization, but in IIT Roorkee only one institute is there in our country where this separate department exists. In IIT Roorkee, department of earthquake engineering is a independent separate department where always lot of research is going on. So this specialization, this specialized field of earthquake engineering is also very much important nowadays. Government of India has started various schemes after occurrence of January 26, 2001 earthquake of Gujarat. So under that NPEEE program has been started, National Program in Earthquake Engineering Education. And the basic philosophy, if we want to cater the need of the earthquake, is to create the awareness among the masses. If the people will know that we have to take care of earthquake when they are constructing a building, I have to make the building earthquake resistant. One thing you must be knowing, you might be knowing, that we cannot construct the building fully earthquake proof. We can make the building earthquake resistant. So this is also very burning topic, need of the hour as far as civil engineering is concerned. Design of earthquake resistant buildings. So the main, how we can go for this, the main thing is to create the awareness among the masses about the earthquake resistant design technologies in a buildings, so that if any new building comes, that may be a group housing, that may be industrial building, that may be a domestic building, then the earthquake resistant design philosophy should be taken into account. Clear? So just I will take 5 minutes for this. As far as earthquake is concerned, all might be you knowing that according to Newton's second law of motion, F, force is equal to mass into acceleration. So when we talk about earthquake, force is equal to mass into acceleration. So earthquake acceleration is generated from inside the earth, so that we do not have any control over it. So what we can control? We can control the mass of the building or mass of the structure. So that is the and multiplication of this acceleration, earthquake acceleration generated inside the earth with the mass of the structure, then net earthquake force is generated. So we can control the mass of the structure. That is the reason why lightweight structures are constructed in earthquake prone areas. When we talk about the countries, different countries, so Japan is a country which is a very earthquake prone country. So in Japan, you can easily see all the structures are very lightweight structure, so that the net earthquake force which will be generated, that will be less. Clear? Then the second thing is, one more important as far as earthquake resistant design is concerned, we should go for the steel, proper use of steel. When we talk about earthquake resistant technology, then the one thing comes, ductility of the building. We have to make the building ductile. So in the major construction, in the today's major construction, the frame constructions are there. In frame construction, RCC frame construction, in a broad sense, two materials are used. In a broad sense, two materials are used. One is your concrete and one is your steel. Because RCC, reinforced cement concrete, means concrete is reinforced with steel. So two broadly materials, concrete and steel. Concrete is a very brittle material. So when we talk about the ductility of the building, so the steel is there in the building which will provide the ductility property to the building. So now the next thing is that how we can provide the ductility to the building steel. That we know steel can provide the ductility to the building. Our Department of Civil Engineering team at that time, when this earthquake comes in 2001, our department team has visited in some parts of the Gujarat of earthquake affected areas like Bhuj and others. What they conclude that in a multi-story building and other different types of building, we should use a special type of steel. Now, as far as steel is concerned, in market, you will get it in a broad category, two types of steel. One is your steel which is manufactured from ores. एक steel आपको मिलेगा जो ore से बनता है, like your Tata Tiscon, then SAIL, Steel Authority of India, Bharatiya Ispat Nigam Limited. This is the steel which they manufacture by taking powder form in the ores. And second one is which you are getting, that is your Govindgarh based steel that is made from different types of scrap. So what is the basic difference between these two types of steel? When we will use this steel which is from the ores, which is manufactured from the basic raw material which we get from ores. So, and the second category which is based upon the Govindgarh based mills, steel rolling mills, in that composition of steel is different, because in a furnace, one different quality of small patti of iron is there, then different composition of steel, then that is made. Now, what is the difference of these two types of steels? We have tested this in our concrete lab in UTM, that what we found, that when we test the steel of your which is manufactured from ores, so the failure of that steel is ductile failure. When the breaking load is reached, ultimate load is reached at the steel, so then that will neck formation will be there. The failure will not be brittle failure, that will not break immediately. Then neck formation will be there. After that, that will elongate and brittle failure will be. Whereas in case of Govindgarh based steel, when we apply the breaking load, ultimate load, then the failure will be brittle failure. Immediately the steel will be break out. So what happens now? I will relate this to your earthquake resistant design philosophy. If we will use that Govindgarh based steel in a high-rise building, earthquake didn't last for hours or minutes. Earthquake comes for few seconds, and when earthquake comes, if we have used our in beam columns that Govindgarh based steel, then what will happen? That shaking will be there, and that steel will fail in the form of brittle failure. And if the column in the steel, because concrete is a brittle material, that will shatter, side se toot jayega concrete to, and if that type of steel is used, that will be brittle failure. अगर उसके columns ही failure हो गए, जो कि buildings की legs होती हैं, then that building can collapse. Whereas if we will use that ore-based manufacture ore-based steel in that building, then that will be a ductile failure of steel. Elongation will be there. There might be occurrence of cracks in the building, in the slab or beams or columns, but that building not will collapse, that will survive. And after earthquake, we can make that building after retrofitting. Retrofitting is a term which is used for the repair of the buildings to make the building usable after earthquake. So after retrofitting, we can make that building for use. So that is the basic difference between the use of that type of ore manufacture based steel and Govindgarh based steel. So this is all about today's lecture. So now any query, anything you want to ask, you can ask. Most welcome. It's all over from my side. Please.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. What's your good name?
This is Jagat Kumari, sir, from School of Planning and Architecture, Vijayawada.
Vijayawada. That's nice to hear you.
Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening us in an advanced manner of construction, and we have earned and learned so many new things, sir, from this lecture. So this was not sufficient for this, but my question is, thank you very much, sir, for enlightening in an advanced way of technology in the building construction. My question is blot enablement. BLOT, blot enablement. We are not aware of this, sir. Please, can you describe about this?
IoT? You want to ask IoT?
No, sir. There is some BIoT, I think, an enablement that you.
BMS. Our term was BMS, Building Management System.
Yes, sir. You have said that in this PPT, BIoT enablement. You said that, sir. That term we are not aware of that.
Which one in
BLOT, I think. BLOT, Block Enablement. Building Management System, BLOT Enablement.
Building management system is the integration of basically all the components of the system in intelligent building. What is there? We have to integrate all the services.
Acha. Blot enablement. Acha. Okay, right.
Basically, this is a sensor-based technology, na? And the things will flow from one floor to another floor and one block to another block, and it will be centralized controlled. Suppose there is in a tower there are suppose 10 houses, and similarly 8 towers are there in a group housing, for example 80 houses. So like all are controlled in a central place, and if something happens, suppose in a one block at 3rd floor, suppose some lighting problem is there, so then at the control system we will know that there is a problem, then that will be immediately removed. Similarly, same thing will be applied to all the services whatever we are getting in the building.
Okay.
Any more question, please?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone from the participants? Any queries? Please give feedback about the lecture.
Good morning, Dr. Sir.
Good morning, ji. Good morning, please.
Sir, your topic is very new, and it is also related to our department that we are moving towards.
So first of all, you will introduce yourself.
Yeah, myself, Dr. Dinesh Kumar, HOD, Computer Science and Engineering.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So it's very nice. The topic is very good, and of course, there is a diversion of civil engineering department towards smart building, and we also have to play a better role in this smart building. क्योंकि ये जो सारा आपने बताया है स्ट्रक्चर को हमारा बेस अच्छा होना चाहिए. सो आई फील वेरी गुड कि भी मैं कंप्यूटर इंजीनियरिंग डिपार्टमेंट से हूँ, तो मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लग रहा है. आपका टॉपिक बहुत अच्छा है, रीसेंट टॉपिक है, एंड कांग्रेचुलेट to you and your team. So for
thank you, sir. Thank you, because intelligent building cannot be made without the help of the computer engineer, because it is a combination of civil and computer science engineering.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any more queries?
Okay, Dr. Bansal.
Yes, please.
Yes. Thank you very much for your presentation. I think there is no other inquiry there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now the participant, we will meet at 11:30. You can attend the AICT half an hour inauguration, which AICT will be doing from 11 to 11:30. Okay.
All the participants are requested to send their feedback in the chat box, please, about this lecture. Thank you all. Thank you, especially Dr. Rakesh Singla ji, head of the department, for giving me a chance to share my views with you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So our participants are requested to kindly give your feedback in the chat box.
So all the respected participants are now requested to please leave this meet, as we will start the session 2 of day 1 at 11:30 sharp, and you will be sent link within 10 or 15 minutes in the WhatsApp group, so that you can join with the new link, and new link will be sent in the group. So all the participants are now requested to please leave this session. Thank you very much. So this is to inform again that session 2 of day 1 will start at 11:30, and all participants will join at 11:15 or 11 up to 11:20, so that we can start the session on time. Thank you very much.